Hello everyone, are you guys ready to talk about Mega Metagross? Like I said guys, this is going to be a short little video talking about Mega Metagross. So, before anything else, the whole point of this video is to show how prevalent and strong Mega Metagross is in the current meta OU, as well as why. So, looking at its usage stats for current OU, the most recent stats given, we see that Mega Metagross is second overall with a 33.45 usage with an actual usage of 16.04. It's only behind Landorus Therian. Now that makes sense as Landorus Therian, both in Generation 7 and in Generation 6, were the most used Pokemon in OU. Jumping over to Generation 6 OU stats, we will see that Landorus Therian, again, its usage has gone down between Generation 7 and Generation 6. You know, it's used a lot more in Generation 7. But if we start looking, we look down and it's like, where's Mega Metagross? Well, it's 35 at 5.35 usage and 5.86 respectively. Now that's a huge jump, and there's a few reasons why we see this jump. Now the first reason is because of what is currently in the meta. So you may ask yourself, well, there's a whole ton of reasons, and yes, there is a whole ton of reasons. The mega changes in Generation 7 means that Mega Metagross's below average speed are now very usable because it gets that speed the second it megas. In addition, let's just take a look here at what megas we actually have, plus the mega buff slash change nerfs Sableye to a degree. So we'll actually see here that in this generation, you know, 13th is Sableye with 11.41 usage. And in Generation 6, we keep going down and it's like, where's Mega Sableye? Well, it got banned because it was too good. Now it's back for this generation because it got a pretty big nerf losing Prankster when it mega evolves immediately, but also because of what's in the meta. You don't really want to run status because Finny, which is third used, and you don't really want to do any priority because of Lele. So there's a lot of things in the meta that really hinder Mega Sableye, and that's why it's available this generation, because it's nowhere near as strong. Now let's look at the megas. So unreleased, unreleased, unreleased. Now that's one of the main reasons Mega Metagross is so prevalent. A lot of the other megas aren't released. Now, some of those megas that would fit perfectly in this current meta would be Mega Aggron. It answers the Tapus superbly. The best that they're going to do is maybe 70% on some of the hyper hitting Tapus like Tapu Koko, and you still can Oko them. As we go down here, we see like Mega Beedrill not released, Mega Deontay not released, Mega Gardevoir. A lot of these megas that you would actually want to see, you know, the Laddies, Lopunny, Mega Manectric, Mega Metacham. All of these megas that you would actively see are not released. So that's one of the main reasons that we're seeing such a heavy emphasis on Mega Metagross. Now, looking at Mega Metagross's stats, they are quite good. So an 80 in HP, that's above average. 145 in attack means that this thing is a wall breaker, with a 150 defense means that this thing can take a hit. 105 in special attack means that if you want to, you could run an HP and do some good damage. 110 in both special defense and speed means that this thing is not only fast, but it can also take a special hit. That's not the only reason that this thing is in the meta though. Looking at what else is very prevalent in the current meta, we have Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, Pheromosa, Magearna, Garchomp, Dugtrio, and Dugtrio is currently being suspect tested, and Dugtrio is one of the main answers for it. So if the Dugtrio suspect test goes the way where it gets banned, I feel that Mega Metagross's usage will go up a little bit. Now, that being said, you may ask yourself, well, why? You know, I understand that there's a lot of Tapus and a lot of Ultra Beasts, but why? This thing answers every single Tapu. It cannot get OHKO'd by a Tapu, and it OHKOs each Tapu in return. It OHKOs Landorus Therian with Ice Punch. It OHKOs Garchomp with Ice Punch. it checks things like Toxapex, Clefable, most of the Ultra Beasts. The only Ultra Beast that I saw doing calcs that can even touch you is Buzzwole. So I don't know how often you see Buzzwole on the ladder, but we'll take a look here. Not seeing Buzzwole. Now, Celestelia, if you are not running the Thunder Punch variant, yes, Celestelia can check you to a degree. However, I prefer Ice Punch just to answer the more common Landorus Therian. Ash Greninja, very common on the ladder, so there's a lot of answers for these Pokemon that are very prevalent in Mega Metagross, because you have access to very hard-hitting moves like Meteor Mash, like Zen Headbutt to deal with things like Pheromosa. You also have access to moves like Earthquake, however, to deal with Pokemon like Toxapex, like Tapu Koko, which only take neutral Meteor Mash. And then your last move can be either Ice Punch or Thunder Punch, depending on what you want to see. Now, I personally prefer Ice Punch because that lets you hit Garchomp, Landorus Therian, and a few other very niche brings here, as you can see. You know, Excadrill gets taken out by that EQ. Magearna EQ taking it down. That being said, though, the last thing I want to talk about here is the things that it really pairs well with. And it's such a versatile Mon that the Mons that it actually pairs well with are already Mons that you see very commonly on the ladder. So the three that it pairs the best with are Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, and Ash Greninja. And the reason is Tapu Fini prevents you getting hit with those status moves, so you cannot get Will-O-Wisped. You cannot get paralyzed. So a lot of the answers to Mega Metagross are just not available because you can't get hit with status. Tapu Lele prevents the priority, which is why Mega Scizor isn't being seen as much, because Mega Scizor is great, but it's not as good as Mega Metagross in the current meta because you can't run Bullet Punch. Your most powerful Bug Stab isn't hitting what you want it to hit. Ash Greninja is very good on this team as well because Ash Greninja provides you a nice special wall breaker, and that lets you break through some other things that you can't quite hit through with your stabs. And even Landorus Therian is very good on this team because it is immune to those electric attacks which hit you neutral but still do a pretty good amount of damage. It is also immune to ground attacks which hit you super effective, and you don't really want to be taking too many of those. Plus, Landorus Therian defensive can set up rocks and can be a nice intimidate switch-in for you. Overall, guys, that is my little analysis on Mega Metagross. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, share, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!